All right, so for a recovery sheet, if you look at it, we're gonna go through each and every single one of the techniques that I want you all to possibly work on to help and aid it with your recovery. So the first one we're gonna look at is palming of your eyes. The idea is to block out all light coming from your, basically your optic nerve. So this way it actually will calm down your nervous system and help you with recovery and kind of like a reset for your nervous system. So how it's gonna look. First one, with palming of the hands, you want to think about coming across one eye and the other one coming across the other hand. And what this is going to do, the idea is you're trying to get rid of all of the light that is possibly going in towards your eye. So you're just going to sit here, you can try to keep your eyes open or closed, and I want you to hold this for about 30 seconds to 1 minute. Whenever you're doing this, whenever you first start doing it, you might notice there's flickers of light in the blackness. That's totally normal to start off with. Ideally, we want it to be totally black. If you actually are getting those flickers of light, what it is, it's your optic nerve still firing. So you want to calm that effect. So something you can work on to eventually to where just cupping your eyes and immediately goes dark. All right? All right, so the next one on the list is bottom to top breathing. The idea is to start from your navel, work your way up to the chest, and exhaling, starting from the chest back down. So, how to work on this? You're gonna put one hand on the belly button, the other one on the chest. So I'll switch it up so you can see. And as you breathe, you should have motion in both up and low part of your body, but you wanna start mainly from the bottom and work your way to the top, and then on the exhale, going from the top back down to the bottom. So it's gonna look like this. I'm here. So ideally, whenever you're breathing more horizontally, not vertically. So I do not want this. That's what's called paradoxical breathing. We do not want that. If you want to make this a little bit more, a little bit easier to do, you can take a band, you can wrap it around your midsection, preferably down towards the lower ribs. Doing that same kind of concept, but now you have that external feedback. And what I want you to think about doing, if you are utilizing the band, which I recommend everybody to do, is now I want you to think about 360 degrees breathing. So the circumference of your midsection all the way around, on the exhale, collapsing down. So it's gonna look like this. So if I hold it here, I'm going to think about not only breathing forward, but also backwards and over to the side. So take a big breath in. Take an exhale, breath in, exhale. So over to the side, I'm thinking about not only just pushing forward and back, but also side to side. What I recommend for doing for this is probably around 2 to 3 minutes at a time, preferably a couple times throughout the day. So working up to maybe a grand total of 10 minutes a day of doing this. This is what's gonna basically restore breathing. So a lot of oxygen into the nervous system, getting you more fuel for being able to do more recovery stuff. All right, so the next one we have is basically diaphragm stretch 1 and 2. I'm gonna basically just do just one version of this diaphragm stretch. You can do it while standing. If you have any more questions with this one, we can modify it to where you're laying down, and that way it makes it a little bit easier for you. But how this one looks, I'll turn sideways, because I'm gonna think about my pelvis here. I'm gonna kind of tuck the pelvis underneath me. So think about just kind of taking your tailbone and tucking a little bit more underneath my spine. From here, you're going to take a big exhale. You're going to exhale everything out of your lungs. We have something called tidal volume, so no matter how much we exhale, there's still gonna be something left in our lungs, so that way our lungs do not collapse, all right? So what I wanna see, you're gonna take a big exhale. Once you get that full exhale out, you're going to hold it, and then I want you to think about working on a spinal extension. And if you're doing this right, you will feel a stretch going down your entire rib cage, down to your lower back. That's your diaphragm. So in other words, it looks like this. Take a big breath in, I'm gonna exhale. And what I want you to work on is whenever you're holding that stretch, hold it for about 5, maybe 10 seconds, 3 times. All right? Okay, so the next one we're going to work on is basically eye massages. We have 6 muscles in our eyes that we want to actually massage and relax them. What this actually does from a neuro standpoint is it's going to basically calm down the nervous system and basically almost like a visual reset. So how it's going to look is you're just going to take one finger on each side. You're going to go to the tear duct on the inside towards the nose. You're just going to go upwards towards the basically our brow line. You should feel a little indivot, like a little groove, like a little basically like semicircle kind of feeling. You're basically going to go into that position, and then there, all I want you to do is you're going to give me 5 circles one way, 5 circles the other. Once you get done with that, you're going to go all the way to the opposite side of the eyeball, still feeling for that little indivot. Once you feel that indivot, you got 5 circles here, 5 circles here. Next one, you're just going to come to the very outside of your eye. Same thing, 5 circles, 5 circles. Now from here, we're just going to go straight down. You're going to feel that little indivot. Same thing applies. 5 circles one way, 5 circles the other. Second to last one, all the way in, basically towards the bridge of your nose. You're going to feel for that little indivot. Same thing, 5 circles one way, 5 circles the other. Last but not least, to the middle of your nose, going straight back, kind of towards that little tear duct. 5 circles one way, 5 circles the other. After doing this paired with that pawning, you might notice your vision seems a little bit more clear, which is a good sign. That means you've kind of reset your nervous system. Your visual system's turned on a little bit more. All right, so the next one we're going to look at is basically straw breathing or puckered lip breathing. Now, the idea of this is you're going to take a quick inhale through the nose, and then you're going to basically control that exhale through the mouth, like with a puckered lip, like this. You can use a straw, doesn't matter to me. So you're going to take a breath in, then exhale. Ideally, you want to work on a 2 to 4 ratio. So 2 seconds in through the nose, 4 seconds out through the mouth. So in other words, do like this. Working on that for a couple minutes, you're going to notice a lot of a calming effect. This is what's called our parasympathetic nervous system. We're basically turning on our rest and digest nervous system. So in other words, we're getting that recovery levels to go up. So the next one I have on there is paper bag breathing. And the idea of this is just to take a plastic bag, paper bag, doesn't matter to me. You're just going to cover your nose and your mouth, and I want you to breathe into that bag for about 1 minute. What this is doing is it's basically going to get more CO2 into the system, is which we actually want. More CO2 helps with transporting oxygen, also along with other things. So by working on maybe 1 minute a day with just doing that, 1 to 2 minutes, or whenever you feel like you're very stressed out, can actually have a very calming effect and actually aid in recovery. All right? And the last one on there is vertical eye movements. Now, how this is going to look is you want to stand, starting off probably in a neutral stance, eventually probably going into feet together. This is a more compromised position. But in neutral stance, big, tall, long spine, what you are going to be doing with your head staying still, you're just going to take your thumb, you're going to literally follow your finger straight up and down. Now, the reasoning why we want to look at this is vertical eye movements deals with a lot of midline structures. So relaxing the midline, the central nervous system, which then will in turn relax just about everything else. So working on anywhere between 5 to maybe 10 reps of this, around 3 times a day. Now, with everything being said, I want you to understand that I need you, out of those things that we've worked on so far, I need you to assess something, do a drill or do an exercise that I just went over, and then I need you to reassess it. So I'm going to give you an option. You can rather do a forward fold, knees lock forward fold, a back bend, or rotations in that midsection. Do a drill and then reassess one of those 3 things. If it did increase, or your range of motion got looser, that's a good drill for you, and I want you to focus on that one more than any other ones. All right?